All right, so my week 4 journal um, says discuss never seen before diagnoses, etc., that you've experienced this week. So we actually had a young lady, 39 years old, who came into our level 1 psych center after being at the psych hospital for 48 hours. She was endorsing SI and HI towards her husband, increased anxiety, depression, SI with a plan to overdose on her medications. So she came into our facility, and we basically spoke with her, and she is a healthcare not a provider, she's a healthcare, they're called healthcare techs, like social workers at an local agency here. And very, very anxious, very fidgety. First presentation in a psych hospital, was on SSRIs for depression, had been going to therapy, and she described that she was diagnosed with bipolar 1. She described that she did not feel she was bipolar. She felt like, every month when the time was coming, she had this rage, and, she was sabotaging relationships with her husband and her kids and at work, and just crying. And then episodes of, they don't understand me and they hate me, and then crying. And so really digging into, okay, how long has this been going on? Why don't you think you're bipolar? What do you think this is? What rage do you have? She, it's like a week prior to her period of hating everybody, hating all her family, everybody's against her, just real anxious, and then gets her period and spends 2-3 weeks of I'm sorry, trying to rebuild all the relationships that she broke for that week, and then it's just every month. So we our preceptor kind of gave us the task of, well, what is it? So we actually concluded it was PMDD versus bipolar, or rapid cycling bipolar. She actually agreed. She said that she thought that was it prior to her being diagnosed with bipolar. So she was on what was she on? She was on an SSRI, which was not working for her. She agreed to try Prestique, which is a new SNRI. And then we looked up the FDA birth control. She didn't want to do a shot, obviously, because she said she was actually offered that before, but because of the weight gain, she opted not to even try it. So, and she no longer wanted to have children. She had her tubes tied. So she agreed to Yaz. We actually looked that up, went to the pharmacist, and our research showed that Yaz was the only FDA-approved medication for PMDD. And then talked to her about CBT, which she already is enrolled with therapy, which she said helps, but she needs something more to help her with the hormones. So that was interesting. I had never really seen it. And then it just checked off all our boxes. I'll be seeing her this week to see how everything was going. Her urgency was getting controlled and getting back to work. Totally understand it. She had children to still attend to, 17 and 18, and her trying to mend her broken relationship with her husband because of her attitude. And so I'm really anxious to see how that went for her. Let's see, you can choose the same case, explore your personal strengths and limitations. So I love the fact that our preceptor, or my preceptor, challenges us to let us, what would you do? Let's say you're practicing, what would you do? And he's there as a backup to bounce ideas. And I love the fact that at our hospital we have our pharmacist on site who is just, she's just amazing. That we can go and bounce ideas off the pharmacist. And then we also had collateral work with her home health agency, which is where she's an employee from. Um, and they were like, whatever you guys feel that needs to be done for her, we're all, in agreement. Don't our My preceptor is really about, don't make changes if a patient has a rapport and a relationship with a community agency. We do our due diligence to try to reach out and collaborate before we mess up or change any medications that this provider has probably built up or has even more collateral information for us. So I think those are some strengths that I'm gaining as I'm going through my clinicals, is that part of doing a lot of collaborative work. And then it's always the patient, what would you like to do, especially someone that comes from a behavioral health history and is well adapted to what is an SSR, SNRI. What about these hormonal changes are you having? Why bipolar 1 do you not feel fits your situation? So really getting her involved and getting her input was key. And that built a lot of rapport, because it wasn't like us coming in and saying this is it and we're moving on. It's you're taking control. How can we guide you? I think that's something that I'm really learning with my preceptor, and outcomes are amazing because they're in control of their healthcare. We're there to guide them and teach them and educate them to make the best choice for themselves. So yeah, week 4.